dear students. As we have already discussed about the physical properties of metals, today we are going to discuss about the chemical properties of metals. So, chemical properties of metal means when they are kept in open, how do they react with the other substances, or what happens when they are kept in some chemical compound. That is all about chemical properties of metal. So if you remember, we have studied the reaction of magnesium ribbon with oxygen in physical chemical changes chapter in class 7. So same reaction I am going to explain. When the metals react with oxygen, they produce the metal oxide. When metals react with oxygen, M stands for metal, O2 stands for oxygen gas. That will give you metal oxide. It can be MO, it can be M2O, or depending upon the chemical formula of that metal. Metal, when reacts with oxygen, it will produce the metal oxide. What it will produce? Metal oxide. Clear? So, when I will take the magnesium ribbon, if I will place it in open, then it will react very slowly with oxygen. But if I will burn the magnesium ribbon in presence of oxygen, then I will get magnesium oxide. What I will get? Magnesium oxide. That means when magnesium reacts with oxygen, it will give magnesium oxide. Now, this oxide, what is the nature of it? We do not know. So, we have to confirm what is the nature of this magnesium oxide. For that, I will divide this magnesium oxide into two halves. Okay. Before that, I would like to tell you, when this magnesium ribbon burns in presence of oxygen, it burns with a white dazzling flame, and it will produce white color ash, that is magnesium oxide. Now this magnesium oxide, one part I will try to dissolve in water with the help of a stirrer. Then I will get magnesium hydroxide. That means when metals react with metal oxide reacts with water, what do they produce? They produce metal hydroxide. It can be like this, or it can be something else. Okay. So metal hydroxide is produced. Now if I want to test the nature of this, I will use litmus paper. Blue litmus paper, red litmus paper. And in this solution, I will dip first blue litmus paper and I will observe what happens to it. Then I will place red litmus paper into the solution. I will observe that the blue litmus paper will remain blue itself, but the red color litmus paper will change its color to blue. That means the substance is basic in nature. This is one indication that the produced oxide is basic in nature. Okay, like here magnesium oxide is produced, that is basic in nature. Another test to prove that the oxide produced by the reaction of metal and oxygen magnesium oxide, that is white color ash, and dissolving it in hydrochloric acid. When I will dissolve, this white color substance will get completely dissolved in hydrochloric acid, and I will obtain magnesium chloride as a salt, and water will be released. This magnesium oxide getting dissolved in hydrochloric acid is an indication that it reacted with the acid. And we have already known that when metals react with, or any basic substance react with acid, it produces salt. Here you can see magnesium chloride, it's a salt. Okay. So this is how this reaction takes place. Metal, when reacts with oxygen, it will produce metal oxide, and to test the nature of this metal oxide, we will use the litmus paper, and we will divide this metal oxide into two halves. One part I will be dissolving it in water, and I will get magnesium hydroxide. The other part I will be dissolving in hydrochloric acid, then I will obtain magnesium chloride and water. Now we will try to understand this with the help of an experiment. Magnesium, this is magnesium ribbon. Okay, you can see this magnesium ribbon I am going to heat in presence of oxygen. If we use Bunsen burner, then the reaction will be slightly faster. Now you can see the white dazzling flame, and I am collecting the magnesium oxide. So now I have obtained the magnesium oxide. This is white color ash. Now I will be dividing this into two parts. In one test tube, I will place small amount of this and I will pour water into it, and I will try to stir it, but it do not get completely dissolved into water. Now I have to test the nature of this oxide. What is the nature of this oxide? So I will use red litmus paper and I will use blue litmus paper. Okay, as the litmus paper is dry, it is taking little bit of time, but you can see the color change afterwards. Then I will place the blue color litmus paper. So you can see that the blue color litmus paper will remain blue, the blue color litmus paper will not change its color, it is blue only. But you can clearly see the red color litmus paper changes to blue. When the red color litmus paper changes its color to blue, that means the produced substance is basic in nature. Second part of the experiment is, I will take this magnesium oxide and I will pour small quantity of hydrochloric acid. And with the help of a glass rod, I will try to dissolve it. that it gets dissolved into hydrochloric acid, as this acid is dilute. So you may be finding few particles left. If you will use constant hydrochloric acid, it will completely get dissolved and it will produce magnesium chloride and water. Okay, understood? So today we have seen that when metals react with oxygen, they produce metal oxide, and this metal oxide, when reacts with water, it produces metal hydroxide. And if we try to mix this metal oxide with any acid, then it will produce the respective salt and water. Now we will discuss about another metal, that is sodium. Sodium is highly reactive metal. Even if you will place it in open, it will start reacting with oxygen. When this sodium is kept in open, it reacts with oxygen gas present in the air and it produces sodium oxide. What it is? Sodium oxide. Now again I want to check whether it is acidic or basic. So what I will do? I will break this into two parts. One part I will test using water. The other part I will test it with hydrochloric acid. So when sodium oxide reacts with water, it will produce sodium hydroxide. And similar to previous experiment, if I use red litmus paper and blue litmus paper, blue will remain blue and the red litmus paper will change to blue or turn into blue color. Okay. Second part of the sodium oxide I will dissolve in hydrochloric acid. The oxide will get completely dissolved in hydrochloric acid and it will produce sodium chloride, which is a salt, and water. Clear? Now, a very common example which we observe in our surrounding, that is iron. Iron also reacts with oxygen, but it reacts in presence of moisture. Okay, so iron will react with oxygen in presence of moisture, that is water. Then what will be the reaction? Iron plus oxygen plus water will give you iron oxide dot XH2O. X is the number of molecules of water attached to the oxide. This oxide is nothing but rust. The brown flaky deposition we observe on the surface of iron is this iron oxide. Similar to this experiment, again I will try to dissolve it in water, but it do not get dissolved in water. Okay, so I won't be able to perform the first test, that is testing the litmus paper test. So what I will do, I will take this iron oxide and dissolve or mix it with hydrochloric acid. Then I will obtain iron chloride, or we can say this is ferrous oxide and that is ferric chloride. Clear? And water will be produced. Water, 3 molecules of water plus XH2O. This X2O is coming from this formula. This XH2O and again this hydrogen and this oxygen will combine to produce 3 molecules of water. That means whenever metal reacts with oxygen, they produce respective oxide, and this oxide is soluble in water. Few oxides are not soluble in water, but they react with acid and they produce the respective salt. Okay. In this regard, I will take the metals aluminium and zinc. They are considered as moderately reactive. They are not very reactive. They are moderately reactive. So when this aluminium reacts with oxygen, it produces, for that I have to heat it. Then it will produce aluminium oxide. This aluminium oxide, again I will mix it with hydrochloric acid. Then it will produce aluminium chloride and water. Okay, this will not get dissolved in water. Similarly, zinc also will react with oxygen and it will produce zinc oxide, but this zinc oxide will not dissolve in water. So, I will go for the second confirmatory test, that is, I will dissolve this zinc oxide in sulfuric acid, or I will mix this zinc oxide with sulfuric acid. You will find that zinc oxide gets dissolved into it and it will produce zinc sulfate and water molecule. So children, what we have learned? We have learned that whenever metal reacts with oxygen, it produces the respective oxide, that is metal oxide, and these metal oxides, they react with water to produce metal hydroxide, which is basic in nature. Okay? And if I will take this metal oxide and mix it with acid, it will produce the metal salt and water will be released. All these examples suggest us that metal oxides are basic in nature. Understood? If you have any doubt regarding this topic, we will be discussing in our next